The former Trump campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, will serve less than 4 years in prison for financial crimes that include cheating on his taxes and bank fraud. Sentencing guidelines in Virginia called for 19 to 24 years. Joining us now is Independent Senator Angus King. He serves on the Senate Intel and Armed Services Committees. Senator, thank you very much for being here. How did you see the Manafort sentencing of less than 4 years in prison?
Well, I have to tell you, if I was on the jury in that case, I'd be scratching my head this morning and say, why did they take, months out of my life for this? He was found guilty after a trial on 8 felonies, stretching back a number of years. He didn't cooperate. And most shockingly to me, yesterday, he didn't express any remorse. His remorse it seemed to be about getting caught, not about what he did. And some of the people he defrauded, Allison, were you and I. He defrauded the United States government out of $6 million on his taxes. I just find it an astonishing sentence, and I can assure you that every defense lawyer in America is now going through cases, and we're going to be flooded with stories in the next 24 hours about people with relatively minor offenses, selling an ounce of marijuana or, stealing quarters from a laundry room with equivalent or greater sentences. This is an issue that I think needs to be discussed generally, the disparity between the penalties for white-collar crime and what I would call street crime.
Yeah, in fact, Senator Elizabeth Warren has already tweeted to that effect. But in terms of what you were saying, where he didn't express any remorse, do you think that he was intentionally setting himself up for a potential pardon from the president?
Well, that's really hard to say, but, the president's reaction, you just read before the break about, no collusion. This trial wasn't about collusion. In fact, that was the other thing that surprised me. The judge gratuitously made that comment yesterday from the bench when the trial had nothing to do with it, and I don't know what the judge was talking about or why he would make such a statement. This case doesn't prove there's no collusion because that wasn't the subject of the trial. I think, the president has the absolute power to pardon. There's no question. But the question then becomes, what's the intent? What's behind it? Is there a corrupt intent? Yeah. Clearly, I think everybody would say, well, the president can't issue a pardon if he's paid $100,000. So if the president's issuing a pardon because he thinks it will keep him out of trouble himself, that's getting close to the line.
Senator, I want to ask you about something that troubles you, and that is, as you know, the president has a habit of delegitimizing things that he doesn't like or that he doesn't agree with, from the FBI to the press. And now you worry that he is already planting the seeds to delegitimize the outcome of the 2020 election if he were to lose. Here's something that he tweeted last month. He said the Democrats in Congress yesterday were vicious and totally showed their cards for everyone to see. When the Republicans had the majority, they'd never acted with such hatred and scorn! Exclamation point. The Dems are trying to win an election in 2020 that they know they cannot legitimately win. What do you hear there?
Well, he said that, and he said it during the last campaign, but he said it even more explicitly in the last few days about if he loses, it's rigged. Allison, I can't tell you how concerning that is. One of the fundamental premises of our system is the peaceful transfer of power. That's what distinguishes us from most other societies and civilizations in the last 10,000 years. It's a precious part of it. And for him to say, if I don't win, it's rigged, or to delegitimize the election is really troubling. Plus, it's a gift to Putin. This is exactly what the Russians want to do, is divide us and delegitimize democracy. That's their whole game plan. And for the president to say something like that, and let's say only 1% of his base acts upon it, the danger is violence. 1% of the president's base is probably 1 million people. You've got 1 million people who are feeling the president is telling them this isn't legitimate, you better take up arms. This is one of the most dangerous things I think that has happened during this extraordinary period.
I think it's really important that you are pointing this out, that peaceful transfer of power should be sacrosanct. We only have 5 seconds, but this is really a burning question. Nickelback, friend or foe?
Yeah, Allison, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Really? Nickelback? Come on.
Yes, Senator. Yes. This is what the Congress took up yesterday, as you know. Senator Angus King, I'm going to go with that means you have it on your playlist. So thank you very much for being on New Day. John.
Political posturing there from
Absolutely.
Senator
Thank you.
King of Maine there at the end, piling on.